Thank you, Anastasia and Irene. Thank you, everyone, for coming out today. If there is not a major change in the United States, there is reason to believe that this day, August 6th, would be a good time for us to say our goodbyes. Our goodbyes to each other, goodbye to the planet, and goodbye to the paintings of Rembrandt, the discoveries of Ibn Sina and Albert Einstein, the philosophy of Confucius and Leibniz, the principles of the US Constitution, the poetry of Shelley, and the music of Beethoven. We are steadfastly marching toward the thermonuclear annihilation of everything created by man. Wasn't that the point of dropping the bomb on this day 78 years ago? It wasn't about making the Japanese surrender. That was already under negotiation. The purpose of dropping not one, but two bombs on civilian population centers in Japan was to demonstrate that we could do it and that we were willing to do it. Is there anyone here so naive as to believe that we have become more moral since the day that Madeleine Albright declared that although it was a tough decision, the lives of 500,000 Iraqi children was a reasonable price to pay to achieve our goals in Iraq, which apparently we still haven't achieved because we're still there, illegally occupying that nation. You know, the American illegals squatting in nations all over the planet who don't want us there. So it's time for you to disabuse your friends of the notion that some wise person who has somehow managed to stay out of jail inside the Beltway is going to stand up and stop this thing before we go over the cliff. Waiting for that person would guarantee that we were all finished. But having said that, I am not pessimistic. I'm optimistic because I don't intend to allow the annihilation of the human race to occur while I have breath to fight. I know we are here today because we agree that we cannot let this happen. And although they are not here with us in Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza, billions of people around the world are saying no to Anglophile, which sounds a little bit like pedophile, hegemony. The leaders of African nations are banding together with Russia, China, Brazil, and others, and they are saying, no, you cannot make us send weapons to Ukraine for your proxy war with Russia. No, you are not going to tell us whom we may elect as the president to lead our people. As soon as these international leaders can hear and see signs of sentient life from within the United States, we will have a global resistance which can liberate us all from the billionaire perverts who seek to divide, rule, and depopulate us. In 1988, Lyndon LaRouche made a bold proposal for the reunification of Germany based on what he knew to be the coming end of the Soviet communist system. They were bankrupt, and he said, Let us feed Poland in return for the reunification of Germany. 3 months later, he was sitting in federal prison. But the Soviet Union did collapse, and Germany was reunified. But instead of embracing this as a great opportunity to liberate mankind and raise the standard of living worldwide, Maggie Thatcher, the iron-pumping Prime Minister of the UK at the time, and George H.W. Bush jumped on their flying carpets and broomsticks and flew all over the world, starting wars. We had the hideous invasion of Panama, the first Iraq War, war in the Balkans, the Malvinas, and many, many more wars that we don't even know about. LaRouche from prison and his wife Helga from Germany warned the arrogant Anglophiles who believed they were the winners that just as the communist system collapsed, the collapse of the British liberal free trade system was nigh. And when that system collapsed, there would be a great revolutionary change of far greater magnitude than the dissolution of the Soviet Union. That moment has arrived. As Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan Chase gobbles up one bankrupt bank after the next, subsidized by taxpayer-funded bailouts, I am sure that there are plenty of Wall Street and City of London insiders wallowing in their dirty diapers in secret board meetings trying to figure out what to do. I don't know what to do. Let's overthrow Putin. Let's overthrow Xi Jinping. Then it won't matter if we collapse because at least they won't be running the show anymore. Well, it ain't working. The beautiful irony is that the more that they try to destroy other nations, the faster they destroy themselves. I think that's how God intended for things to work. So we're on the brink of thermonuclear war because that is all they have left to do. I and others here are running for office because that we know we have to shift the United States. But I think November of 2024 may be too late. We need Americans in the streets now. We need delegations in 435 congressional districts, visiting your congressman so many times that you are on a first name basis with every single staffer in their office. Anyone who supports one more nickel going to Ukraine should never be elected for anything ever again. Anyone who votes to impose sanctions on nations to starve their children to death for regime change purposes must never be elected again. And they should know that now. Julian Assange should be released from prison immediately. Lyndon LaRouche should be exonerated. NATO should be dissolved. What is needed is an entirely new order among nations based on mutual respect for the sovereignty of their people and the dignity of man. Our enemies are totally morally and financially bankrupt. So we must seize this moment to firmly establish a Republic of the United States of America which doesn't meddle in other nations' internal affairs, but demonstrates by our own actions within our own borders that truth has standing, that justice will be served, and the people protected, so that through their talents, they may contribute to the betterment of mankind. Thank you.